Hey there, my name's Cara, and I am one half of Smaller on the Outside. This half, that's me. And what I have for you today is a little Sims 4 base game build. I created an elemental altar space room that has already been uploaded to the gallery on The Sims 4, and this is my first time trying to figure out how to best record footage from the game through our OBS software and everything like that. When I started this build, I wasn't recording, and I decided later to do that. So yeah, bearing with me on that, here we go. So when I actually started recording, I had already done a little bit of work here in the earth section, the earth corner with all the little plants there and some fruit. And I had done as much as I could at the time in the water section. This is basically like a first draft, and then I go around and add more to everything. So that's how the water section was when I started recording, and then I was moving on to the fire corner over here. So what I was doing with this build, basically, I am a practicing neo-pagan and witch, and so I work with the 4 classical elements in my practice. So we're talking about earth, air, fire, and water. You may certainly be familiar with this idea from movies or TV shows. And yeah, so I'm working on the fire section here. I'm using items that evoke the more obvious qualities. For example, fire, I have candles seated up there, but I'm also working with other energetic qualities like warmth and happiness, creativity, and also the colors that match these elements. So the fire corner has a lot of red, orange, yellow. I have the sunflowers there because they are, of course, associated with the sun, which is fire. I'm putting a little coffee pot in there because coffee is warming and comforting, and those are energies of fire as well. I have a candelabra matching the associated colors of the elements, and I should say the colors and directions that are associated with these elements in my personal practice. It's not the same for every witch or pagan around the world. So now you see I've started adding some things to the air corner. But basically what I wanted to do with this build was I made it a room that doesn't have walls, so it's all just the floor. There's no wall decor or anything here. There's no ceiling lights, because I wanted people to be able to download it and use it in your build either as an interior room or like a courtyard, or it could just be an outdoor space that gets added in. So because of that, I didn't want to have any ceiling lights or anything, so I have candelabras in each corner which provide the bulk of the lighting. So here I'm working in the air section, and you saw a little bit ago I had a microphone out and then I put it back because I was like, no, I don't want that anymore. Oh, now I'm actually going back over to the earth section and adding more fruit bowls because earth, the obvious things for earth are a bunch of potted plants from The Sims, but earth is also about abundance and physical health. And, you know, the physical earth and our physical bodies are associated with earth as well. So fruits, yummy foods, taking care of our body. And then, of course, I have the new gnome guy there that's holding a potted plant. He's new with the base game update that we had very recently. So now back over to the air corner. Qualities of air include communication, which is why I was thinking about putting that microphone there before for communication. But and you know, like, and speech and expressing yourself, but then I thought, nah, the microphone's just like too modern. So I've got a lot of books over here because the air element is also about intellect and intelligence, has to do with communication, as I said. This element is associated with the mind and everything kind of related to that. And then I've also chosen some plants here that are very airy looking. And the planter that has a hole cut out in the middle of it, because that kind of feels airy to me. So that's kind of how I'm doing this. I have like that stack of books and binders because air is about the intellect and studying. We've got the ancient tomes here. So that's kind of my thought process here for anyone wondering. So I'm putting together, I've got more scrolls throughout. I went with scrolls as the things seated up on the pedestal, kind of the main thing, because really I would be looking for like a fan, like a hand fan. I use those a lot in my practice to represent air, or you could use like a feather. So I could have used like a statue of a bird, but the only one I can think of really is the wall decor one. And then there's like the chicken, but chickens don't fly for very long. So of course we're constricted here to the type of stuff that is available in the Sims 4 base game only. So there I'm just resizing more stacks of books and then using that Control 9 to bring them up, and as I just did there with the little scrolls as well. So I did build this with BB Move Objects on, and I utilized the resizing brackets quite a bit, as well as the Control 9 command to raise things up to be sitting on top of other things. We're especially going to use that on the central altar here, where I basically just have one of the little Katrina doll statues. I was thinking about putting a rug underneath it, but later I removed that and I just add some more decorative stonework. And there I was going through the different lightings from different times of day. So this is nighttime, so you can see it's completely illuminated by just those 4 candelabras in the corners. And yeah, so this is where I'm trying to decide what to do with the stonework, and then it cuts. And now you can see I've done a lot more work on it. There's a bunch more stuff over there in the fire section. I went back through and I was like, what else can I put here? So you can see like the little teddy bear with the love heart over there and some gardening supplies by the earth section. But what I'm doing right now is going through the tables. This is from the base game, but it's from that Chinese Lunar New Year update that they did. I love this table, and because it's bigger, it allows for more room to raise more items up onto the edges, because the tables really, they only have like 3 spots that you can put things, so the rest of these I've had to position holding down the Alt key, you know, so you can kind of move it a little more freely, and using that 9 key to raise things up. So I'm putting a little cup here, plants, a teapot. I've got my spell book or journal in the center, of course. And now we're actually into the screenshots. So here's the whole thing from one angle, and again from another angle of the whole thing overhead. Again, nighttime illuminated by candlelight. Here's the earth altar, again the main feature being that new base game gnome with the little platform. So he's holding a pot, and also gnomes are associated with earth, surrounded by plants, some food, earthy colors, textures. For the water corner, I really just had to use blue items as much as possible because, yeah, there's just not a lot of stuff that I would typically use. I did use water features. We have the bird bath instead of a pedestal. I put some water lilies in there, and I wanted to put like a mirror, but there's no hand mirror that sits on a surface, and I didn't want to use a wall mirror or a large standing mirror. So this is what we have for water. There's a fishbowl on the other side, turtles, a blue ship. Again, obviously being a little bit restricted by what's available in base game. This is the fire area. So yeah, I didn't want to go overboard on just candles because that's kind of obvious, so I have some fiery flowers in here, really heavily dependent on the color associations here. But I also have the rack of spices and the coffee pot for warming and comforting energies, which are very fire as well. And then moving on to the air section, which we sort of talked at length about in the actual build footage, which brings us to the central altar where you would actually be doing your work. So I love that open book, perfect. I have a little lantern there for additional lighting, candles, some extra tools, plants, things like that. And you will notice I did add one more thing that I really wanted to have on this altar, but is not available in base game. I have added this little mug. It is from the Pufferhead pack, which is custom content created by Emless, and you can download that for free. That is the only custom content that I have downloaded so far, the Henry Pufferhead pack, inspired obviously by the Henry Puffer character in Sims 4, who was inspired by Harry Potter. Obviously I wanted to have a little mug of tea or something on the altar. That was just really important to me. So I added that only for the screenshots, but it is not in the download on the gallery. So if you don't have that, don't worry. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I will get better at planning on recording before I do things instead of starting to record partway through. But yeah, super fun. Thanks so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more stuff like this, and also you can follow us on Twitch at SmallerOnTheOutside. My name is Cara, my partner's name is Nate, and one of us will see or talk to you very soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.